on me. Promise that you never be lonely. Peter Pan, that's what they call me.
Welcome to another episode of World of Gist, and today we will be talking about the race to the vaccine and the cure to COVID-19. As we all know, this deadly virus has been causing a lot of deaths all over the world, and they have been working silently and working hard to get a cure to this deadly virus. And today I will be taking us to a few countries that have actually, worked hard to get this done. Let's go to the UK first.
The first volunteers now getting their dose of a vaccine that could protect the world from COVID-19.
It seems like the right thing to do to ensure that we can, combat this disease and get over it a lot faster.
The team at Oxford's Jenner Institute are fast-tracking their trials because they've already tested a similar vaccine for another coronavirus, Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome, or MERS. They believe it's safe. The big question is, does it work against this new virus too? This morning, an encouraging sign from researchers in the U.S. Scientists at the National Institutes of Health's Rocky Mountain Lab in Montana gave the vaccine to 6 rhesus monkeys, then exposed them to large amounts of COVID-19. 28 days later, none of the monkeys had the virus. The lead researcher telling the New York Times the rhesus macaque is pretty much the closest thing we have to humans, but that scientists are still analyzing the results. The Oxford team thinks they'll know whether it works in humans by July.
And that gives us confidence that, firstly, this is going to be safe when we use it for this viral infection. We have a good idea of what type of immunity it produces.
The team is already working with manufacturers around the world, including Millipore-Sigma in Massachusetts, an arm of German pharmaceutical giant Merck, to speed up mass production if the vaccine works. 1 million doses are already being produced at risk. That means if the vaccine doesn't work, the doses will be useless. But if it does, they'll have a big head start, delivering a desperately needed vaccine as early as September and taking on the next challenge.
We are aiming to make not millions, probably not tens of millions, but ideally hundreds of millions of doses of this vaccine, because we really...
Israel. So Israel has been one of the countries that has been working hard to get this done, and they're doing a pretty good job. Check this out.
Israel has achieved a major breakthrough in the race to find a cure for COVID-19. Scientists at Israel's top institute have managed to isolate a key coronavirus antibody which could possibly neutralize the virus. Following the development, Israel's defense minister visited the Institute for Biological Research, where the antibody was isolated. The minister claims that the antibody can destroy the SARS-CoV-2 virus inside a carrier's body. Now, the institute is in the process of patenting the antibody formula. Once a patent is procured, the search will begin for an international manufacturer. Reports of cures and vaccines are popping up across the world, but Israel's breakthrough is distinct for a couple of reasons. The antibody that they have isolated is monoclonal in nature, which means that it has been derived from a single recovered cell, making the chances of success higher. Antibodies are proteins developed by the immune system to fight the virus, and they remain in a person's body even after recovery, which makes them key in developing not just a cure.
Italy
Has claimed to have successfully developed a vaccine to contain the deadly disease. Italy has claimed that the vaccine works on humans. Now, according to reports, Takis, which is the Italian biotechnology firm developing the medication, has claimed that this is the first time since the race for a COVID-19 vaccine began in the world. As per the test carried out in Rome's infectious disease hospital, the coronavirus vaccine has antibodies generated in mice that work on human cells. Human tests are expected soon. Now, scientists experimented with the vaccine on mice that successfully developed antibodies, blocking the virus from infecting the cells. Now, according to the findings, the vaccine candidates could adapt to any COVID-19 evolution and its possible mutations. Now, the race is on among researchers to develop coronavirus vaccines as the deadly disease shows no signs of stopping.
And this could be among the most visible progress as hundreds of vaccine candidates are being tested around the world.
United States.
A trial that the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, which is the institute I direct, sponsored, called the Adaptive Covirus Disease Treatment Trial, or ACCT-1, was started in February 21st of this year, and it was a randomized placebo-controlled trial comparing the Gilead drug remdesivir with a placebo. It was highly powered with about 1,090 plus individuals. So it is the first truly high-powered randomized placebo-controlled trial. It was an international trial involving multiple sites, not only in the United States, but in various countries throughout the world, including Germany, Denmark, Spain, Greece, the UK, etc. The primary endpoint was the time to recovery, namely the ability to be discharged. When you have a study like this, we have a data and safety monitoring board which looks at the data. And they are independent, so there's no prejudice on the part of the investigators because they're doing the trial or the drug is from a certain company. The Data and Safety Monitoring Board on Monday afternoon contacted me on April 27th, first on Friday, the week before, and then again on April 27th, and notified the study team, namely the multiple investigators who are doing the study throughout the world, that the data shows that remdesivir has a clear-cut, significant positive effect in diminishing the time to recovery. This is really quite important for a number of reasons, and I'll give you the data. It's highly significant. If you look at the time to recovery being shorter in the remdesivir arm, it was 11 days compared to 15 days. And that's a p-value for the scientists who are listening of 0.001. So that's something that, although a 31% improvement doesn't seem like a knockout 100%, it is a very important proof of concept, because what it is proven is that a drug can block this virus. And I'll give you an example in a moment of why we think, looking forward, this is very optimistic. The mortality rate trended towards being better in the sense of less deaths in the remdesivir group, 8% versus 11% in the placebo group. It has not yet reached statistical significance, but the data needs to be further analyzed. The reason why we're making the announcement now is something that I believe people don't fully appreciate. Whenever you have clear-cut evidence that a drug works, you have an ethical obligation to immediately let the people who are in the placebo group know so that they could have access. And all of the other trials that are taking place now have a new standard of care. So we would have normally waited several days until the data gets further, dot the I and cross the T. But the data are not going to change. Some of them.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like.